So this is for. Oh, I'm sorry, Brad.
When I say it goes on live at this time, it's going on live. We're live on YouTube. Hello, everybody. I don't know if anybody's watching us at the moment, but they will come in a second.
I'll put it up on Facebook.
Thank you.
I can put it in the Discord real quick.
Thank you. Let me pull up the live feed. We got 2 people watching already.
I think it's me and George.
Nope, Michael Reed. Let's lock and load. We're locking and loading. What's going on, sir? We already have 1 thumbs up already on YouTube. The others are running late, but this is a good time for us to chat it up with the YouTubers. So ask us any questions. We got Neil, George, and myself willing to answer your questions.
2, 1, let's rock.
Triple S Entertainment, 3, 2, 1, let's rock. Let's rock indeed, sir. Where is everybody watching from? That's always a fun question. Michael Reed, where in this big planet are you watching from? Also, Triple S, where are you from, buddy? I will look in the chat. We got 4 people watching now.
Fan Expo didn't really have anything happen today other than Gleason's announcement, which surprised
me. What is
me.
Fan Expo and where is Fan Expo? I didn't even know there was a convention.
It's a con in Dallas.
Oh, George, how far away is that from you?
20 minutes south of me.
Oh, there you go.
I could have gone, but this was my 1 day off this week from school and work, so...
George, by having an apartment, you lucked out in the fact that you don't have to mow a yard. My God, man, am I tired.
Yes.
I love how George is like...
George is just like, I know, I'm not dumb, I know.
He just kind of sat there for like a solid 5 seconds trying to figure out like some kind of witty response.
He's like, nope, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, this light's getting in my eye, so
what light?
I had my phone's flashlight on to see if you could see my face for once.
Oh, you're okay.
Didn't Ashley say she's got to leave at
11? I think
11.
At 11. We need to move to the reviews as expeditiously as possible.
They agreed. We got 5 books, so fast.
Yeah, don't worry.
In and out, baby.
Once again, I will set the bar.
Thank you.
That's
why I led you with you first.
Yeah.
You know how to get in and out. You're like a burglar.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and talk about it for half an hour. I'm going to be like,
Jonathan
here's what
Lopez
happened. You know.
Hey, Ashley.
Hello.
Jonathan Lopez from Southern California. We got Triple S in Houston. Austin from South Carolina. Bobby, what's up?
Triple S, get out of my territory. That's
Jonathan
fine.
Disney. The House of the Mouse is 30 minutes away, huh? Bobby, yes, I'm excited for Gleason. I liked his stuff on Batman and Robin. That was solid. So
we had a whole shindig about it on the Discord. Like everyone's like, oh God.
Hi, Ashley.
George, it's been a minute.
I know I've missed you. How are you?
I'm good.
For a while, we went back.
There's Zach in a car yet again.
We went back to thinking you and Ashley were the same person again, George.
Can we do it on Sunday? I'll be in a car.
I was at the store.
What are you? And you're vertical videoing it on me? What the? How dare? There you go. Thank you.
You're disgusting, Zach.
Just be glad he's wearing a shirt this time.
Oh, Bobby, you're in the UK. Welcome, sir. What's Zach?
I said I always wear a shirt, you a-hole.
Oh,
wow.
PG-13. We have children watching, and I know.
I just quoted Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. That is true. That's PG-13. Let's see. Who else are we missing? We're missing Peter. Okay. We're missing Peter. But I say we go on. Peter said he's going to be on at 9, so I think I say we get started. I've got one iTunes review, and then we'll lead into George's first review. Fast and efficient, as George and I were talking. Let's get in and out. And 5 books, an hour 15 should do it. Or not.
Brad, that's going to be on you. You're going to have to
all right. Everybody, I'll Spielberg it. When I say let's go, all right? All right.
Sure.
Coming down in... Let me get the rundown. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Is JR not coming?
Nope. JR has a flight that he has to hit at 6:15 in the morning. He hasn't seen Endgame, so
Oh.
JR said I can't do it. So
All right.
let me pull up who's got what book real quick. And I didn't hear from Mike until today, if you could make it or not. So he's not going to be on. Let's see here. Oop. Close. Okay, it goes George, Ashley, Zach, Neil, and Peter is the closer. Okay.
So wait,
Okay, coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our amazing review episode for May. Let's introduce the panel. We've got George, not seen since February. What's going on, George?
Oh, not much. I'm glad I could be here for once. It's
We
been a long stretch for me.
we have missed you, sir. The fans have demanded your appearance, especially with Stegron being in so many amazing issues.
I know, right? Stegron's beating ass, dude.
Yeah. And we have Ashley. What's going on, Ashley?
I'm doing good.
What's going
I'm
on?
here even though I stopped in the middle of Game of Thrones,
Whoa.
and that's how much I love y'all.
Oh, you're sweet. Did you DVR it, or are you streaming it, or?
We're streaming it right now, and I watched exactly 30 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I can pause here. I can
There you go.
contain myself for the next several hours, and then I'll finish.
So,
the rest.
so I have Dish, and I had an HBO subscription, and Dish is fighting with HBO.
Who's breathing directly into like a?
I think it's Zach.
Is it?
Zach, mute,
It's not
please.
Zach
Peter.
this time.
Okay, who's breathing it? Peter, I think it's Peter.
Am I good? Do I sound sexy now?
there's
No,
there's
but
a
I can
new
hear ya.
challenger.
You guys are totally messing up my intro. Okay. Anyway, we've got Peter. What's going on, Peter?
Not much. It's a dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear.
I asked for Peter, not Norm Peterson from Cheers. Nice J. Scott Campbell art over your shoulder from ASM 500.
I thought I'd spice it up tonight.
Very nice. And we've got Neil. What's going on, Neil?
I'm tired. Everything hurts. I want to go home.
That was a great JR impression. Unfortunately, JR can't be here. JR has to catch a flight at 6 in the morning, and he has not seen Endgame. So
They brought me in to be a substitute.
You're our 75-year-old replacement. All right. We have Zach, who was in a car a minute ago. Now he's inside of a house. Is that your house?
I hope so.
Did you just pull? Did you just pull into a random person's house and say, "I got to do a podcast. Move out of the way"?
Hey, when you get the Spidey signal,
You got the Spidey signal up in the air. Hopefully, Zach gets a microphone at some point so I can hear him.
Work
All right,
on it.
we've got one iTunes review from April 11th. This is from Austin Kemprowski. 5 out of 5 stars. The subject title is Brain Saver. Quote, as grade school approaches its twilight, this podcast has essentially saved my sanity. This period of life has been exceptionally stressful, but this podcast has returned me to the Spidey fandom with a smile and loads of laughter. Love the whole crew, and I look forward to continuing my journey through the back issues. Sir, you've got 550 back issues to get through. If you get through all of them, write us another review. I think that's really nice. Thank you for, sounds like probably a 12th grader. It sounds like a senior in high school that's getting through that. What do you think, gang? Wasn't that nice?
That was
Oh,
very
yeah,
nice.
sure.
I think it was great, specifically because I was in his exact situation in high school. Because like I remember starting listening to the podcast in junior year of high school, and this kind of carried me through until I actually joined.
How many back issues did you listen to, Neil?
I don't know. You're asking me this when my memory is probably at its single worst right
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry. I forgot you're playing the 75-year-old man with Alzheimer's. Okay.
Well, no, I'm playing college student who has some.
Oh, well, that's true
communication.
too. That's true too.
Neil's
All
really
right,
going for
we
that outfit
have-
tonight.
We have 5 issues that we're getting through tonight. And as George says, we're getting through these at a quick pace. Otherwise, we'll be here till next Tuesday.
That and Ashley has got to go at
At
like
11.
11. And we want to make sure that she
Yes,
gets her movie.
I'm an
review.
hour ahead. I still
Yeah.
gotta watch Game
So-
of Thrones, and I have to get up for work in the morning. So
So I think we all got to be at work in the morning. So it's 9:30 Ashley time, and you
Yes.
got to be out at 11 o'clock. So that is our That is 10 o'clock my time. So that's
No,
My
11
di-
o'clock y'all's time, 12 o'clock my time.
okay. So I got 8, 9, 10, 11. I got
I
3 hours.
pre-converted for y'all.
There you go. 18 viewers. Wow, you guys are coming in, aren't you? Okay. Starting with George, ASM number 18. Take, it's like an Elvis Presley or a Tom Jones pelvic thrust.
No.
I just mentioned that like H3 that Royce makes when he does that vape.
If you're in my generation, that's Johnny Bravo to you.
There you go. George, take me through this issue about the gibbon.
All right, this is from Nick Spencer and is it Ken Lashley?
I think so. Yeah.
Ken Lashley. I think that's the artist's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Ken. Okay. Yeah, no. So of course, in the main story, spoilers, we see the gibbon get killed.
Rip.
Okay, we got issue 19 next.
No. Whoa. No, literally, in the main story, we see him get killed. I mean, it's just like a couple of oh god, the gibbon's dead. This is like shows you what happens. He basically gets hunted by a bunch of the wannabe craven, rich people. And he goes through his life, while he's on the run, getting hunted and getting taken out a little at a time until he's finally murdered. He's thinking back on his life, which has been miserable.
Yeah.
He's been a freak. He's been picked on, bullied, finally found a place to be in the circus where everyone laughed at him and he felt terrible about his life. Fell in with Princess Python when she was blind and she gave him the last American Virgin treatment. Literally, that's what she does.
Yeah.
She uses him, to help herself get better, and then she runs off with some jackass. And then, he at the end, he has a choice: go with Spider-Man, go with Vulture. He goes with Vulture. Sure enough, he gets killed. Although, in fairness, had he gone off with Spider-Man, probably still would have gotten killed.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of scenario we're in right now. So yeah, I mean, it's a great story. It's a very touching story. It is not a story I would normally buy. And before we started, the discussion time, we were talking about this briefly, before we got on, before we went live. And I pointed out, like, this is one of those things for Marvel, like the edge of the whatever verse or, clone conspiracy, secret file, all this crap.
Yeah, it's a side mini of the main mini.
It is. It really is. And 9 times out of 10, all of that is pure and complete garbage.
Yeah,
it always is. But this one was actually good.
I agree.
Because it's written by Spencer, and Spencer's amazing.
That's what you did there.
No, Spencer's amazing. This was a great issue. It's not something I would normally buy. I was happy I read this sort of the Gibbons swan song. So yeah, I'll give it an A, not an A plus, because it's still one of these things that I don't want to buy them.
Well,
main story.
Gibbon has been around a long time. It first introduced in Amazing 110, July 1972, created by Stan Lee and John Romita Sr.
July 72, the year I was born, or the month I was born.
Look at this. This is he is a long-standing character that just went away. So an A out of George. Let's go around the horn. Peter, what do you give it?
I give it a B plus.
Okay, Ashley.
It's an A.
Zach.
A.
Neil.
I'm going to be the high man on total poll, A plus, and I'm going to argue this is one of the best of Spencer's run.
Ooh, wow. I'll give it an A minus. George, pros. What were your pros out of it?
No, it's very well told. One thing that Spencer does, Spencer really has a knack for hitting that human interest note in a believable way where it's not ham-handed, and it's not. He's got a subtlety to him that frankly, we're lucky to have in the books, because we had almost 10 years where we didn't have anything like that.
We were hit with a frying pan. This thing,
right? He is a subtle storyteller. He's a great writer. He knows how to hit the emotional beats at the right times, with the right amount of with the right amount of severe thunderstorm warning.
My favorite.
Who needs to take cover? What's going on?
Where's that coming from?
Not me.
Zach, take shelter now.
Yeah.
No, with no, he knows how to hone in on the good moments and really deliver a nice human interest story.
Yes.
The moments about bullying, in the story, that hits a note. We've all seen that at one time or another in school. We know what that's like, and it made me think a lot of these horrible people, a lot of these cravens that are running around hunting are probably people that bullied him.
Mhm.
That's probably the type that they are. How sad that he got killed by these people.
Yeah.
It's just it is a very well told story because Nick Spencer is a talented, skilled writer.
Very true.
If I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
This applies to all the HU issues, just all the ones that we've read so far. I think that it comes from Spencer understanding villain culture. Like he understands that the villains aren't necessarily just evil people who kill for the lulz. They're generally very misunderstood people who, had they gone a different way in life, they could have become good people, but they were taken to force a path of tragedy, and they became the people that they are today.
Yeah, he humanizes the villains, which every villain. I think I've read this that. Every villain thinks that they're not the villain. They think they're the hero.
They're the
They're
hero.
the hero of their own narrative.
Exactly, and that is what makes a great villain. Like you don't think they're wrong. They think they're doing it for the betterment of man or themselves, etc.
Oh.
And Spencer gets that, which is nice.
Let's pour one out for Gibbon. Press F to pay respects.
As Austin in the YouTube chat says, pour one. No, Bobby says it. Pour out a drink for Gibbon. There you go. What would the Gibbon drink? What would the Gibbon's drink of choice be, George?
Probably a really cheap beer, something like
PBR.
No, I mean like really cheap, something like Hams or
Natty Light.
Great value beer.
yeah,
Oh, no.
Natty Light.
Milwaukee's
Target.
best.
Milwaukee's best, yes.
Target brand.
Did you say Target's best? Is that what?
No, Milwaukee's best.
Oh, Milwaukee. I'm like Target.
There's no Target's best. What the
No,
Okay, you can Berryman.
I don't know
out
about
of
beer, I
everybody
know
in the
my
Maybe
room.
like something from Aldi's.
Out of everybody in the room, Berryman, you're the only one. You and I are the only ones that know anything about beer.
Enigma has a good one. Banana rum. There you go.
The Gibbon is probably that one guy who goes to Applebee's after it's supposed to be closed and just pours one out for himself.
Really, all you had to say was that one guy that goes to Applebee's. I mean,
Let's
As
open
if
it up
they
real
weren't
quick.
depressing enough.
Neil had some pros. Any other pros that we didn't hit on?
I want to make a point of that to dovetail off of what George said about the people, about the hunters, these a-holes that keep,
The bullies.
the bullies. I kind of looked at it a little slightly different than you, Berryman. I think you're right about it, but I also think that there's also similarities between these people, because there's a feeling of powerlessness with these hunters,
Especially later on in the storyline.
Oh, especially later, as we get further in the storyline, that these people, I think, have always felt like this sense of inferiority, and they finally are feeling, powerful and superior. And I think that there is some symmetry between them and the Gibbon in this story, which makes it even more heartbreaking. Because if the situation was reversed, some of these very same people that were the hunters would be being hunted by the so-called strong people. So and out of all the Greg Land covers, this is the one I hated the least. So
Also, Zach, can you tilt your camera down a little bit? You're blocked by the myriad of windows of people, so I can see your mouth. There you go.
There is another pro I wanted to bring up.
George, behave.
say it. Say it.
No, don't say it. Okay, go ahead.
Type it.
Neil. No, don't type it either. Go ahead.
I think that Ken Lashley, for one, has a very good idea of how to work with sequentialism. There's that one 9-panel grid on, I believe, page 12 that I think really, and I've had a lot of problems with the recent 9-panel grids in recent comics these days, especially from Tom King and Bendis, considering how they use them to just make more words. But I think that the 9-panel grid on here does a very good job of accentuating how fragmented the Gibbon's thought process is here, and how he's just getting the absolute crap beaten out of him.
Yeah, I'm looking at the panel. He's getting murdered right there. I mean, it's awful, man.
This is a horrific story that was really good.
Yeah, It was.
I mean, it's a sad story. It's terribly sad.
Is this the first time I've ever heard of the Gibbon dating Princess Python? Is it? Because I don't remember it.
Fun fact. You know how they mentioned that Princess Python leaves Gibbon for Livewire?
Yeah.
She actually eats Livewire later on in Secret Avengers with her own snake.
But do you guys remember Princess Python dating the Gibbon? I don't remember this.
I don't really remember the Gibbon, to tell you the truth. I mean,
You don't?
no.
The Gibbon I remember. I remember him. DeMatteis wrote a story in Spec about the Legion of
Losers.
Legion of Losers.
I was gonna bring that up.
And wasn't it Razorback, the Gibbon?
No, it was Grizzly Gibbon.
Grizzly, not Razorback. Yeah.
Grizzly and Gibbon had the Grizzly Mobile, and
That's right.
and then they were going to use the aqua it was going to convert from the Grizzly Mobile to the Grizzly boat.
Yeah.
And Gibbon forgot to put the aqua gear in, and so it just sunk into the bottom of the Hudson.
So maybe 90s is the last time we really saw the Gibbon doing anything.
Yeah. And the kangaroo was what you were thinking of.
Kangaroo.
The second kangaroo and the Spot.
Yeah, they were the Legion of Losers. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Fun little group. They have Leapfrog in it. Will be fun. Cons. George had a con about how he probably wouldn't have bought this. It's a side mini of a main.
Yeah,
mini.
That's got nothing to do with the issue itself.
Yeah.
Though. I mean, just because I don't buy this.
That rule also applies to like annuals too. Annuals anymore are just bad.
Well, yeah, for the last 15, 20 years, that rule's gone for annuals. I mean, like in the 80s, there was a time when you could find a good story in an annual. The annual was something that was usually worth picking up. It hadn't been like that since the 90s, really.
Now we just have the meat.
But yeah, no, I normally wouldn't buy this garbage. I'm not going to call this garbage. I normally wouldn't buy stuff like this, Edge of the whatever verse, Clone Conspiracy, Secret Files, whatever. It's just because it's garbage. Almost all the time, it's garbage.
Any other cons? What would you like to say before we move on?
Not necessarily a new con, but adding on to George's, when the April solicits came out for these issues, I think the collective response from not just this group, but on the Discord, we were like, "Oh God, they're using this just to try and milk us of every penny they can get out of us."
It's nice to be wrong every now and then.
One thing I don't think we brought up is how good the artwork is in this issue.
Yeah, it's solid.
I wouldn't mind seeing more of Lashley in Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
All right, we've got. Let's move on to the next issue. Ashley's got ASM 8.20. Take us through that one.
All right. So opening up, we inexplicably open on Black Cat and Billy locked up with the rest of the animal totem people who haven't been released. We stay with them for one page as she kind of eyes the guard, and we know that she's looking at him. Then we jump over to Daddy Craven and his boy, his son, saying, "Look, Father, at everything you've created. You know, you've done such good work here, but why are you letting these schmucks run around? You know, these kind of loser rich a-holes who have no skills whatsoever when we could be out there showing them what the hunt is truly about." Craven starts having some post-traumatic flashbacks to Spider-Man and just kind of mumbles something about, "Oh, no, it's the wrong time. Not yet. We're not ready for that." And so we then cut to Spider-Man in the forest, picking up the pieces of my broken heart as he's cradling the Gibbon in his arms after he's died, and kind of reflecting on, you know, the carnage around him, all the, not just Gibbon who's been slaughtered by this mayhem, but we also have Mad Dog, Gazelle, Mandrill. They're not names I recognize.
Yeah.
I guess
Whatever
it's
looks
kinda
like
previous
Batman.
there's Porcupine back there.
Oh, Porcupine, yeah.
Where's Dark Mark when
Porcupine.
you need him?
Armadillo's there. The owl's there.
Spider-Woman, right?
Well, I don't know if
Was
if it's Roger or if it's like it's just someone that Hobgoblin picked up as a franchisee after
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Roger went rogue.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Yes. So as he's going through and kind of seeing all the carnage left behind, he notices some arrows and he starts following them. They lead to, it turns out they're not actually arrows. they are V for Vulture, and he finds where all the villains who went with the Vulture ended up going. He's kind of amassed pretty much everyone else at this point to band together and fight the Craven bots. And he's going through, he's telling them that it was actually he who fought with the Gibbon until his last breath and, held his body in his arms as he died. And that Gibbon threw himself courageously into battle so that he, as he's very embellished in his own story, the greatest electrical engineer can get to the helmet that the Craven bots are wearing and get some key information from it. So to try and convince all the other villains that he has some piece of information that's going to turn the tide of their situation, that they can get one over on them, put together a plan based on the information he's gathered from this helmet. He wants to rally them all around him. Spider-Man jumps in to call BS on him. It's like, you can't stand yourself, dude. You can't trust him. He's just like, listen to this. He's pretty much writing his own fan fiction here. But when he says you can't trust the Vulture, Rhino steps forward and reminds him that, well, where were you when I needed you? When the Taskmaster and Black Ant came after me, you just suddenly turned and you left me. And what you had, but in order to, as we know, save Aunt May. But to Rhino, it doesn't matter. He's, you made my life worthless. You went and helped innocent people, but you pretty much traded my life for theirs. So why should I trust you? And so Vulture comes in and is able to use this to his advantage and say, it's just us versus them, but we need to stand together and, take the fight to them. So Spider-Man's not able to get them to see his side of things, so he needs to get out of there. But for the time being, we cut back to Felicia, who is actually talking to the guard that she, locked eyes with page 1. And he notices her looking at him, and he's like, okay, I've seen this act before. What do you want? I'm not falling for this. And she says, oh, no, it's not what you think. And we get a really cool explanation of her powers that I don't think we've really gotten in a long time. That, we know that she's had her bad luck abilities, and she talks about some psychokinesis and probability fields. But basically, the way they're doing her powers now is that she can kind of look at someone, and if she, I guess, focuses enough of her chi on them, that she can make bad things happen to them. She can pretty much alter their luck.
Do you like that?
It's kind of weak, but I like that we are actually getting some explanation of it. I respect the attempt. We're not quite there to where it makes any kind of sense, but you know what?
Yeah.
It could be a lot worse.
They'll probably explain it more.
Green bin.
I feel like Spencer just kind of had to get it out of the way.
They're probably going to explain it more in her ongoing series, if I had to guess. But
I mean, it makes more sense than her getting that same kind of ability, like, manufactured into her. So the supernatural approach works much better than the genetically engineered one, at least.
Anyway, back to the review. We've got the arcade and Taskmaster coming up.
Well, anyway, so he says the lock on the other cage, malfunctions, and he gets mauled by Snow Leopard in front of poor little traumatized Billy. She tries to get him to go with her. He's just kind of watch someone just get mauled to death, and he's not really willing to go anywhere. He says, I'm just going to wait for my dad. And we cut to arcade, seeing Taskmaster looking like he's stepping right out of Ghost Rider or something. Yeah. And he's got a big chain behind him, and he says, I couldn't leave yet. Didn't see the job wasn't done. And he comes in carrying or, leading the lizard on a chain.
Right.
And then for our last scene, we cut to Spider-Man again. With getting attacked by 3 of the Craven bots, but as he, manages to get himself to safety for the time being, we see Black Ant is actually still alive. And he comes up to him and tells him that he's about to tell him everything on what's really going on.
Yep. All right, so what would your grade be?
My grade for this one was a B+.
Okay. Peter, what would your grade be?
B plus.
George?
I gave it an A.
An A. Neil?
B+.
Zach?
It's an A.
It's a B out of me. Ashley, pros, what'd you like about it?
I liked what was done. Like, I liked some of the character moments that we had. I like the stuff, of course, with Black Cat. I'm going to.
I know. That's why I gave you this issue.
I wondered about that.
He
I'm
likes
like,
to pander.
and I just did an issue last podcast. I'm getting another one this time. Black Cat must be in it.
I tell you what, you come on the satellite show, you can do the Black Cat ongoing.
Yes, I need to get on that.
Yeah.
But what else I liked? I liked the continuity, just kind of referencing like that. It shows that the characters don't just they exist outside of the current ongoing story, and it kind of continues to reinforce their humanity. It's like the Rhino, he's his own person with his own thoughts and feelings, who's going to have his own perspective on stuff that we've seen happen in the other comics.
Right.
So stuff like that just really helps it feel more organic and more realistic.
Right. Other pros, what else do we like?
I enjoyed the Vulture kind of embellishing in himself and also giving the Gibbon a much more dignified ending.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I agree. That was good.
I don't want to say Gibbon went out like a loser, but he just got shot.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Vulture, he gave Gibbon probably the most heroic ending you can give a villain, at least in this situation.
Yeah.
But to serve his own purposes.
True.
Which is typical Vulture. I mean,
yep.
Adrian doesn't give a damn about anybody but Adrian.
Yeah.
That's one of and he will do as vultures do in nature, and he'll pick the carcass clean to serve his own means.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Pro out of me is the snow leopard Black Cat scene. I thought that was clever.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that along with Ashley.
Any
other pros?
I like Gerardo Sandoval's take on the lizard.
Oh yes, and Taskmaster.
The art is kind of a con for me. I didn't care for the art that much.
I'll get into that later, or once we get into cons. But I did enjoy those particular characters in
that's
Sandoval's take. Yeah.
Any other pros? We'll move to cons now if you want. Okay, cons. Art for me. Neil disagrees with me.
Not entirely. There are places where I feel like where Sandoval tried to really ape McFarlane. You can see it on the page where and I don't mind him aping McFarlane, but it's like he tries too hard while trying to adapt to his own style.
The art with him on Spider-Man is my con. I don't like the look of that black suit. I don't like the eyes on the black suit.
Yeah. The bad thing is the eyes are probably better with Sandoval than they are with Ramos. Like that's the.
I don't like Ramos's black suit Spidey either.
I actually like Ramos's black suit.
Yeah.
It's like with the eyes in Black Suit Spidey in this issue, like I appreciate the attempt to show emotion and expressiveness, but it kind of ends up looking silly, especially when he has his big woe is me face when he realizes that Rhino is accusing him of betraying him.
Yeah.
My biggest somebody said that they liked the way the lizard looked.
That was me.
Neil did.
I did
Neil,
too.
but you're wrong.
Okay.
No, he's not.
The lizard. Look, it was like Sandoval was trying to ape Chris Bachalo's version of the lizard, and we're going to get into that momentarily.
Yeah.
I like the clock lizard better than the iguana lizard in the 20.HU.
Speaking of art I don't like, that'll be next issue.
Yes.
Black Cat is cool. Well, we're on cons now. I'm sorry. George,
I like a Black Cat. Oh, well.
Go ahead, Ashley.
That's fine. Brought it up. I'm
going
out of order. I'm sorry. I like Black Cat's little parenting 101. Like, don't let the child get, traumatized and have someone mauled to death in front of him.
That was pretty good.
This is a con that kind of extends into the later issues, or into the issue. Is it 20 that's up next, or 20?
It's 18.HU
in the main story, but issue 20 in the main story. But I'm not a big fan of like Black Ant just kind of I know he's been here, but it's just kind of he comes out of nowhere conveniently in front of Spidey to go, "Hey man, it's time I just dumped the entire plot in front of you, bro."
Time for exposition.
Yeah,
and you talk. just as an aside, this is completely irrelevant, but you told me I needed to take cover. Now we are under tornado warning. So yay!
Oh, dude, you better get in a
means-
storm shelter.
No, it's.
Do you have a
moving away
storm
from me.
shelter?
No, unfortunately no. But it's
You have a
moving away from.
basement?
I
Got a
don't have
bathtub and a mattress?
I got my bathroom. I'll be fine.
Okay. If you need to, go to it.
No, I'm good. I think it's
All right.
moving away from us, so
Okay.
we're good. I just
These-
had to make a joke about that because I'm morbid.
Dude, I come from where we don't joke about tornadoes.
That's a true story.
Okay, George, I didn't hear any cons out of you. Did you have any? What do you think of the art, George?
I mean, I
Is it
like
okay?
I like that. I didn't have a problem with this shit. I liked it all around. I gave
This-
it an A.
I
This
can-
is
I can-
definitely an improvement over Venom Inc.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. That's the last we saw this artist, isn't it?
I can live with Sandoval for one more issue in. I think he's doing 21.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can live with him for one more issue.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move
I didn't get
to.
to do my cons.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Oh.
Ashley. I thought we were done. Go ahead. Feel
God.
free.
So yeah, I'll keep it quick. But my cons are just mainly the pacing and that also just the function that this issue is playing right now. I mean, it is just kind of we need to get through this to get to the next thing that happens.
Yeah.
But that being said, I like the way that Spencer handles these moments that kind of need to happen, the connective tissue that you need to tie big moments together. I like how Spencer handles it much better than I like how Slaw handles it.
I think Mike in his written review mentioned that this is sort of a breather issue where the characters
Yes.
can like settle down and take stock of what's going on so they can figure out what to do next.
It was still awkward to open up with literally one page of Black Cat and nothing happening, and then suddenly go back to her about 10 or 12 pages later and then finish that up. So I don't know why that's what we opened with instead of just opening with the scene between Craven and his son.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I kind of bookended it. I don't know. Maybe Felicia bookends. I don't know. Any other cons? I want to move on. If we don't have any more.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go 19.HU, Zach.
Or as I like to call it.
As you like to call what? Anyway, Zach, go ahead. Bachalo's back.
No,
He-
God.
He lasted. He lasted shed.
All right, so we first off we have the Greg Land cover, which instead of photo referencing porn stars, he's now photo referencing dinosaurs.
Is he?
It looks more like the
The lizard
Amazing
looks like the
Spider-Man.
Tyrannosaurus Rex off
looks-
of Jurassic Park.
Oh,
I
okay.
hate
He looks more.
Bachalo so
He looks more like the web version of Lizard.
Yeah,
The
I was thinking Zilla from the American remake of Godzilla.
yeah.
Ew.
I was trying to reference the Taco Bell commercial with "Here, lizard, lizard, lizard." Anybody
Oh
remember
my
that?
gosh!
No,
that's
I
from
remember that.
98.
None
Good
of this
look.
has anything to do with the issue.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right,
Let's go.
Anyway, so
You
we
got
open up.
tornado coming. Go.
we open up with the in the sewers where some people are down there. Kurt turns.
Sorry.
I'm trying to
As
do
you
this
do.
as possible, and you screwed it up, Douglas. We then get Chris Machado art interspersed with Steve Ditko and what's the guy's name? Old Man Pelvis.
George, who was that? I forget.
Giuseppe Camicoli.
Giuseppe Camicoli.
not
Old man Pelvis will work though.
it's
He's-
Corey
yeah.
Smith. It's
Yeah,
Corey Smith.
He's Camicoli's the one that always draws Spider-Man with an old man pelvis. It looks like Spider-Man is wearing like an adult diaper and probably walks around with a walker.
So instead of Chris Machado actually, drawing all the panels in this issue, it's interspersed with flashbacks lifted directly from the original issues.
Oh no, I don't mind that.
I think that works.
And we get Taskmaster, who's like, I can't let it go because the bar with no name got destroyed in that issue with Peter and Boomerang, and he's thinking that he killed Black Ant and everything, and the lizard shows up and then spikes his drink and basically manipulates him into taking him into the dome, the Thunderdome that is, and so they finally get in, and then we get an appearance by JR's all-time favorite villain,
Vermin.
Vermin.
JR hates Vermin.
Yes.
I mean, like he knocks
despite
his
the
last
fact-
hunt down because of Vermin.
Despite the fact that we had a story called The Death of Vermin, and that Ed actually overcame the vermin persona
No, he's
in
back.
a psychologically driven, gut-wrenching story starring Baron Zemo, drawn by our pal Sal.
What book was this?
That was
Spec?
Spectacular Spider-Man number
So
195 through
Vermin was
197.
cured. He's back in the sewers again.
Yeah, no,
Guess who's back?
he
We're
was
back.
cured, and then he became. And then they, for some reason, decided they're going to throw him back in the sewers.
Man,
Yeah, for JR, it goes like Hitler, Bin Laden.
Where does
True.
Stalin go on that list?
below Vermin.
Below Vermin.
we have the lizard who completely beats the crap out of Vermin, which
He's
does,
I'm not complaining.
which doesn't make any sense. Then we cut to Arcade, Brad's favorite villain.
No,
And Taskmaster's like, I've got Vermin, and he's like, I don't care, I don't want Vermin. We don't want.
that
Like-
just improved my opinion of Arcade a little bit.
Is Arcade JR?
I mean, you know what? We've never seen Arcade and JR in the same room at the same time. So old school face is like, no, I got the lizard, and then like JR/Arcade just jumps out of his chair. He's like, bring him in, please, for the love of God, you got the lizard.
I'll take a lizard. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take the lizard instead of the rat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how the issue ends. Where it's the last thing. Now, throughout this, I glossed over some things. Throughout this issue, Kurt is agonizing over the mistakes he's made, particularly every mistake that the brand new verse did to the lizard,
Like eating his boy,
like eating his own son
killing
alive.
his family.
I mean, people were like, "This is such a great story." Shed is like CBR is like top 25 greatest Spider-Man stories, and like number 15 is Shed, which just goes to show how completely useless this list is.
Yeah.
But look, I got so my grade. You're gonna ask for my grade.
Yes. What's your grade?
It's a C+, and I have to be consistent.
Okay.
Last time we had Pachalo on the as artist on this show, I said that Pachalo brings down the letter grade.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he does here. This was a B+ issue that got brought down to a C+ simply because of Chris Pachalo.
All right. Let's go around the horn. Ashley, grade.
B-.
Peter.
C.
George.
B.
Neil.
B.
B- out of me. The Bachalo art, lack of Spider-Man. That's what takes it down for me. Pros out of Zach. What do you like?
I like that Nick Spencer is not afraid to lean into this.
He's not scared. He's going in full.
He's
guns.
fearless. I mean, look.
Yeah.
Look. I think Berryman has said it before. See previous podcasts. Go back to listen to one on the 550 episodes that we've talked about it. But it was going to take a lot of work to undo some of the things that were done, and there was a lot of character assassinations that have occurred over the last 10 years, and none more prevalent than the lizard.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think it would have been unfair to longtime comics fans who understand that continuity is important, good, bad, and different. To completely gloss it over, to address it the way that they're addressing it here, there's a ton of guilt that Kirk carries, as he just wanted his family.
That is a pro out of me. He's humanizing the lizard. He feels guilty. You feel for the dude. He's going after to get his boy. Spencer is humanizing him.
The one thing that I always saw with Shed was that Shed was not like every other lizard story. Because there was always this thought of every lizard story is kind of the same.
Shed was literally the worst lizard story, and one of the worst Spider-Man stories. Period.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's like, for me,
was
it's
Shed
like,
the one where he allegedly raped an assistant and then ate his kid?
Yeah.
I forgot. I wonder if the rape was.
But it wasn't rape. It was just Van Lente rape.
Oh yeah. Awful.
I mean, the thing is that I think people tend to praise that story because it's such a different lizard story. The problem is it's not a lizard story. It's a serial killer story that starred the lizard for no reason.
I applauded it for being different.
What,
when
Ashley?
When Grimdark was like getting way too much, when it was becoming way too trendy. It's like, let's just make things unnecessarily edgy and dark and as grim as possible to, like, for shock value.
That was
if
what
I'm-
that story was shock value. So to address it here and try to make the lizard into a more three-dimensional character. Kurt's not a bad character, but
No.
it almost felt like he was irredeemed. And then Slot tried to do something with the lizard, but it always fell flat.
Well, he cloned his family. I guess that's
Yeah, and look,
Well, I don't know. Has that been retconned now? Because according to this story, he injected his wife, who I thought was already dead.
she
Yes.
was. This is a clone of.
this is the clone of the wife.
Family, and then he,
So he's saying he injected the clones with lizard stuff.
Well,
to keep
okay.
them alive.
In
Yes.
the clone conspiracy, they were going through the cellular degradation that the jackal
Oh, that's
implemented,
right.
and then
Yeah.
he injected them with the lizard DNA to regenerate. them
Okay,
and
so
save
Martha
them.
and Billy are still dead. We're still, that hasn't been retconned. This is just the clones.
Yeah.
So
These
they're
are-
not even real.
they're clones with lizard DNA.
Yes, because not only was the clone degeneration kicking in, but also Anubis Jackal was like having that frequency go out to where all the clone parts were going to melt into goo.
Anubis Jack.
You know, in what
Clear.
Somebody put some lizard DNA into George. He's dead.
Yeah. Again, the fact that we're having to bring up clone conspiracy just hurts
know
my
it.
soul.
But as you said, Spencer is on a handyman repairman tour.
It's the Spider-Man redemption tour.
redemption tour. Yeah. Here, did we do pros? Any other-
Real
Go
quick,
ahead.
Brad. One thing I've said this already in regards to this specifically about the lizard's family, because when Spencer took over, someone, and I don't remember who, actually wondered out loud if he was going to work in the lizard's family, and I said we will never see the lizard's family again, and I was very wrong.
I think that was either me or Peter.
Okay, so there you go.
You haven't really seen them. These are clones.
I'm not wrong often,
Yeah.
but when I am, I admit to it. So I was wrong.
Peter, what's some pros out of you? What did you like?
Somebody please
The
write this
story
down.
itself.
You like the whole thing? Yeah.
Yeah, the story was really the only thing that had me going. I'll get into cons about this issue, and it's when we get to it. But like Nick Spencer, he's been killing it. I mean,
Yeah.
he gets on. I mean, Lizard's been put in a bad situation. He ate his kid. His family's all clones,
And the prom is tomorrow.
and so it's the story. He's rebuilding it. He's making it better. He's giving it human characterization that we can actually identify with.
Right.
This just goes to show that as bad as a story can be, you can take elements of a bad story and spin it into greatness. And that's something that Spencer has done
In
so
some
well throughout
stories.
his entire run. He's taken
Anyway.
really sucky stories that these toys that are broken, to use Joe Quesada's analogy.
Yeah.
I know George is gonna love that one.
Wasn't that in the
was-
Braveheart Manifesto?
No. That was Ditko. Ditko was the one who accused Quesada of breaking toys.
I thought he was quoting Quesada when he was doing
No,
that, though.
no.
Anyway.
He's saying Joe Quesada took the toys out of the toy box and smashed them.
I remember that during Braveheart's manifesto for what they were doing different with One More Day, after One More Day, that they mentioned
That pretentious
the villains,
nonsense.
Yeah, that they mentioned the villains had been broken. And of course, it's a different context, but
Anyway, let's keep going.
Sorry.
Any other pros?
okay, I'm gonna
Go.
get some people angry. I like Bachalo's take on Taskmaster and the Lizard.
Ugh. No, to me, it's too much dinosaur, not enough lizard.
You like Bocello's take on the what again?
On Lizard and Taskmaster.
Oh,
More Taskmaster than Lizard, but it's like I don't despise it.
eh.
I thought it was a cool look. I liked it. If
Yeah.
that was like it consistently across the board, maybe it's not quite the best, but for that moment, it filled the page in a really great way. Not just saying like, oh, it filled the page. Just, no.
I mean,
it has a great effect.
he is a talented artist. It's just not my thing.
Hmm.
I mean, everybody has different flavors. Everybody has different tastes. This isn't my taste. This isn't what I'm craving.
George likes Stegron. and
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you like clones, so you're not one to
exactly,
talk.
exactly. I like
Clones or
George likes
Stegron?
Stegron.
Everybody has different tastes. Let's go to cons. Zach, what was some cons out of you on this one?
Well, he's gone, so you can't
Okay,
really
a
ask
con
him.
is Zach that left me in the middle of his review. All right, that's a
Tornado
con.
warning.
Oh,
Oh no!
my. Okay, cons out of the rest of you. Art, we've talked about. Clones, we've talked about. Any other cons?
I don't know if it's in character for Kurt, but I don't see him being able to like plan this out, like out this master plan to get into Thunderdome to save his son.
Every time you say Thunderdome, I think of Tina Turner. Mad Max. The Thunderdome. Okay.
I've said this before. It's when if the story's good and
Yeah.
if the art is easy to follow with that story, it makes the issue better. And for me, I mean, Chris Bachalo, I'm sure he's a great artist, but like you said, Brad, it's not my thing.
Not my thing either.
It takes me down.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard to. His art is a bit hard to follow.
Anybody else have some cons? I will move on. Okay, we've got ASM 8.21. Is that next?
I gotta
Yes.
reset my computer.
That would be
because-
Neil that has that one.
Okay. If you'll bear with me for a second, my computer wants me to reset it. So.
Reset it. I can see it is fine. Zach, you all right?
Well, I'm on my tablet right now.
I wanted. I decided to turn on the television just in case.
Yeah, no
since
doubt.
but it looks like it's moving away from me, so we're in the clear.
Good.
Whew.
So.
Radic55 on the YouTube chat says he's happy George is back. There
We're
you go.
all happy.
We're all happy. I agree. I missed
happy
some
too.
everybody.
I'm only slightly happy.
All right, Neil 8.21. Take me through it.
I gotta open it up real quick.
Oh.
I'm sorry, my computer
Okay.
closed on me, so I can go over the credentials real quick since we're here. 821 is written by Spencer, drawn by Ramos,
Yep.
colors by inks by Olazaba, and colors by Delgado.
Triple S Entertainment. I would agree, but Chalo's art on Doc Strange, I didn't mind. Mainly because it's funky looking. It's
there's a psychedelic aspect to his artwork that I think it fits certain styles.
I didn't mind his art on Generation X back in the 90s either. Just with Spider-Man, there's something about him and Spider-Man I don't dig. I don't know what it is. What about you, George? Do you like his art?
Ramos?
No, Bachalo. On books other than Spider-Man.
I've said this a billion times. I've always liked Ramos' style.
No, Bachalo.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just said Bachalo. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
I keep thinking that we've moved ahead already.
We haven't. Neil is getting his
Okay,
computer.
we're back in
Uh,
business.
Okay, no. Bachalo. I like Bachalo's artwork. I don't like it on Spider-Man.
Same.
It's not a good fit.
All right,
Okay.
Neil, take me through it.
All right, so we begin our issue in Central Park as Spider-Man and Black Ant are beginning to exposit the plot for us. Basically, as Taskmaster is sneaking the Lizard into Thunderdome, that's what we'll just be calling it now from now on. Black Ant explains that everybody that's hiding to a Craven bot, their heads are basically a ticking time bomb. If they try to disconnect, they'll be put on hold. And if they die in the suit, they die in real life. And meanwhile, you got Black Cat and Billy trying to escape, and one of the Craven bots attacks. While Black Cat tries to fend him off while Billy runs, she gets stabbed, and then she's about to take her out until he sees Billy. And we've seen this one particular guy, the fat balding businessman, and he suddenly gains a conscience because kids are involved now, and so he runs away, and so do Black Cat and Billy in the other opposite direction. And meanwhile, Craven and his boy Blue, they're talking. Well, Craven isn't, but his son is. And they're talking about how Black Cat and Billy have escaped, and Craven does nothing. So, his boy Blue throws a temper tantrum, flips a desk.
It's Craven 87. Get it right.
Doesn't matter. Well, it does. But Craven 87 realizes, oh, you're scared. You're weak. It sickens me. And as Craven 87 runs off to join the fight, I guess. Craven, is he gripping his knuckles? He's gripping his hand. It's weird with Ramos art. I can't tell what his hands are.
He's digging his fingers into his hand.
It's almost like Ramos was drawing was the hands what
It's like he's drawing tumors.
What Liefeld is defeat.
It's like he's drawing
Anyway,
these tumors.
Craven is
gripping his hand.
Is gripping his hand with blood, so he's resisting going to the fight.
Yeah. All right. So the lizard has arrived at Billy's cell and realizes that he's not there, and then he gets attacked by Craven 87, and so Craven 87 just takes him down. He just decks him in the face, takes him down, and he realizes that Craven 87 goes, "Oh, there's a chip in you. You hinder yourself intentionally." And then he walks off to go kill Billy. And then meanwhile, the fat, balding businessman who gained a conscience out of nowhere tries to get out of the suit or try to disconnect, and it fails. And then he's the first victim of Vulture's, what do we want to call them? The pack, I guess. And he tries to defeat them by himself. And Black Ant's expositing the actual death itself. The guy basically bleeds to death on the floor, both in the robot form and in human mode. And Spidey realizes this, and Black Ant tells him that he's going to be hiding at the zoo. Arcade welcomes him, and eventually reveals that he is surrounded by vermin clones.
Oh no,
Zach, it's your favorite.
JR is going to hate vermin clones.
So does this place above Hitler on the hate list? He hates vermin clones more than Hitler.
I don't know. Anyway,
that just got dark really, really fast.
Neil, grade
A.
A. All right, Ashley, grade
A-.
Peter,
A.
George,
B+.
Zach.
It's an A, but we have a reappearance of Old Man Pelvis again, but Ramos style.
Oh man.
You're just on your phone looking for that?
Yes,
B out of me. Neil, pros. What'd you like about it?
I'm seeing all these plot points slowly converging together. We're finally getting some answers to all the, I guess, big mysteries. Like, what are the... Well, I mean, it was kind of foreshadowed how the devices worked. The moment they said neural cortex, it was pretty obvious what the connection was going to do in the end. But I'm glad that we're kind of seeing some dimension to that and to Craven's, I guess, master plan. Yeah. And it's good to see that kind of dimension.
We didn't talk about Felicia getting shot. Ashley, what's up?
For the kid.
She sacrificed herself to
protect
that lizard clone.
To see when it comes down to it, she's going to do the right thing because that's what she does. She'll put herself in the line of fire, literally, to take care of those who can't defend themselves.
For something that's not even real. It's a
So this is a totally different Felicia.
You go look at him crying in the corner and tell him he's not real.
This is a totally different Felicia than we've seen. Is it nice to have Felicia back, Ashley?
It's nice to have her back in her own skin. Like, oh my God, look, she's a human person with feelings and emotions.
Yes.
Real quick. Speaking of that, because Slot did some real damage to Felicia as a character. Mm-hmm. I mean, like real damage. Yeah. And we're always talking about the fact that, you know, it's going to take a good writer, a talented writer, a skilled writer, a long time to fix a lot of this junk that got broke over the last 10 years. That's one thing that Spencer hasn't really addressed. The whole, Felicia's are murder hobo thing in Slot's run. With that part has still been kind of swept under the rug, and I'm actually okay with that because I don't know of a lot of ways you can fix that.
Well, he made Spider-Man a murderer too, and when Doc was in his brain.
Yeah, he shot Massacre.
Yeah, he shot and killed Massacre. Yeah. Like, there's just so much you can do.
yeah. I just wanted to point that out because, like, you know, like she can jump in front of this fake boy. And take the energy blast and everything, and that's fine. But you know, I mean, it's as good as we're going to get of a rehabilitation of Felicia. You know, in regards to fixing damage that should never have been done in the first place by a less talented writer.
First of all, Berryman, you're a goddamn monster.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Neil, continue with the pros. What else did you like?
I did enjoy not necessarily the guy growing a conscience, but the fight scene with the Craven bot. Is that what we're calling them? I don't know if we have any.
Let's
other
do it.
name. The Craven bots.
The crones.
I'm genuinely
The
enjoying all
crones. I like that. K with the crones.
With
Yeah,
K.
I like it.
Craven-omatics.
the fight scenes are very they play their Mr. Ramos' strength of hyperkinetic fight scenes. Like every time that we get one, I find myself like, oh, what's this? I finally have a vested interest in this book. Awesome.
See, the sad thing is I found like the scenes with Craven and his son. Though that part of the artwork was really, really good.
I would agree. I like that. I like the whole art throughout this one.
Well,
and you
except
know-
for Felicia's giant chipmunk mouth.
Chipmunk
and
mouth.
her beaver teeth.
Yeah.
But that's how he draw.
Oh,
Him and J. Scott Campbell draw
Yeah,
Felicia.
Scott Campbell
with,
does that too.
Oh, I see the panel you're talking about. That's a chipmunk mouth. Oh,
I don't get this
Woo!
chipmunk. I don't get the chipmunk teeth, man.
Oh my gosh! Hold on.
It's a
Let me pull it
smaller
up.
pro. It's a smaller pro, but I do enjoy Black Ant kind of reminiscing on his past, especially if you're a fan of Eric as a character. Him kind of reflecting on trying to be a hero for a bit is kind of a nice little callback to Irredeemable Ant-Man and Secret Avengers. I don't know. Am I the only one?
Trying to find the chipmunk mouth panel so I can hold it up for the YouTubers. Hold on. Where is it in the book?
Fun
It's-
watching,
Is it in the beginning?
is when Felicia gets shot. Or
Not
no,
that
when
one.
she drops the he's like,
Found
I
the
thought I saw a
chipmunk mouth.
kitty cat.
For YouTubers, this is the chipmunk mouth right there. Chip and Dale and Felicia. Wow.
Rescue
That's
Rangers.
bad. However,
She's two animals in one.
It does look like it does look like there's room in there for like a lot of nuts for her to store nuts in her mouth.
Oh,
What?
No, whoa. That's what chipmunk. That's how
I know.
They store
But
nuts in there.
Ashley, did you ever think you would see a 2-page spread advertising a Black Cat ongoing? Look at that. Look at
I
that
love it.
thing. Wow, that's a great cover
I'm
too.
not
Speaking
keen
of
on the
Black Cat.
art. I don't like the let's make her look like a dolled up little girl. Let's kind of, make her look
Well,
like
That's just
cat.
that's Campbell on the cover, but
Also, the Travel Foreman, I don't like him.
okay. Cons. Did we already do cons? I've lost. I want to keep moving, but any cons out of this issue?
Well, Ramos's faces. We already discussed that, but
Yeah. Ramos's black suit.
I think when
Still not digging it.
I think when the book slows down is probably when it's at its weakest. Like
Mhm.
he's like there's very few scenes where the book actually like slows down because now we've got to ramp up the action. But
yeah,
when,
the pacing's been a problem with a little bit with this arc. We're now how many issues in, and we really have not gotten a lot of
not even
answers.
not even counting the hunted issues, we're only, I believe, we're 2/3 of the way through this arc, and we're just now getting answers.
Also, vermin clones con. No
Yeah.
one wants vermin clones.
I don't even want vermin clones. Okay.
Yeah. The clone
I-
fan doesn't even want vermin clones.
Some of
Alright.
the plot points are telegraphed a little too awkwardly, like when they're Craven's son is in the middle of beating up the lizard, and the lizard's suddenly like, "Oh, if
I
it
got the
weren't for
chip."
this chip that's in my neck, let's focus on that real quick. Oh, this could actually be really bad if you just yanked this out of my neck. Why are you telling him this?"
I saw Spider-Man 2. I know what chips do.
I know what tritium does.
Man, that one died. Like nobody
Yeah,
laughed.
but
A single chuckle. My gosh. Okay. Are we done with that one? Any other thoughts on it?
One last con.
Okay.
It felt a little like I mentioned this in the review for 19, but it spends a little too much time with Spider-Man and Black Ant just expositing what Craven's plan is.
Yeah. Peter, any thoughts out of you? I haven't heard anything from you in a bit.
I liked. Well, this is a pro. I really don't have that much cons except some of the artwork. But Black Cat, I really liked the way she was just in character. I really
Yes.
missed that Black Cat.
Mhm.
I mean,
Same.
I love
just-
where this story's going with her. I'm really excited to see what he's setting up. for her.
I hope
character.
that goes on with their ongoing series. That's my hope.
I'll be
love
honest,
her
I'm
little
excited.
awkward maternal thing going on.
Go ahead.
I'm honestly excited for the Black Cat series.
I am too.
To review it on Spider Satellites over on patreon.com/crawlspace.
All right. We've got Peter with our last issue. We might get done with this in an hour and a half.
Wowie zowie.
Man, 20, ASM20.HU. Take me through it, Peter.
All right, so I try to make this as entertaining as possible because we all need a good
Bring
laugh.
the funny.
Bring
Do
the
you have
funny.
do you have finger puppets?
I do not have finger puppets. No,
Next
Then
time.
it won't be fun.
there won't be a next time. After this review. All right, so like Brad said, Amazing Spider-Man number 20-.
Whoa.
Written by Nick Spencer and artist Corey Smith. We start off with this issue with a flashback of the old bird, Adrian Toombs, working on his vulture costume. The narration boxes is brought to you by Arcade, who is telling us the winds have shifted in the vulture's favor, and he is now the leader and king of all the animal-themed villains trapped in Central Park. It's good to be the king. How did Vulture achieve this goal? Did he threaten to spoil Endgame for everyone if they didn't make him his leader? Nope. He probably just get beat up for that. Did he take some Viagra and maybe he feels empowered and willing to go all night long?
Whoa.
Given at his age.
Stop.
TMI.
Delete
Wow.
this. This is a Christian show.
Whoa.
Cease thought.
Go ahead.
Given his age, he'd probably kill over on the spot. Actually, Arcade invited him, appearing as a big holographic bow tie, doing his best Jesse Eisenberg impression. Adrian Toombs, aka the Vulture, I love it. You should really come to have a drink with me. I'm all up sorts of a no good. Vulture is like, what the devil? But Arcade responds, I know the bow tie holographic is a little bit much, but a regular tie wouldn't fit inside this panel. So just meet me and I'll explain it all. Vulture arrives to where Arcade is, and Arcade tells him the kitchen is closed. He would offer Vulture a steak for dinner, but Vulture, given his age, shouldn't be eating any kind of red meat, and he'd rather not clean out his dentures for the night. Arcade explains that Vulture that this is all Craven's doing, and Vulture freaks out. How could Craven do this to me? We were in the Sinister Six together. We had a timeshare. He would help me across the street after bingo night. What's going on? Arcade sees that the old bird is about to have a seizure and takes Arcade to the grave with him until he gets his remote-controlled hover machine gun drones to fly around the Vulture to calm him down, because that's just how that works.
Go back to bed, old man.
Arcade begins to explain that he is very upfront with his clients right there in section 42B-1 in clean 4-point font. If he's going to build a death trap, there's got to be a chance of survival. Not much of a chance, but a chance.
Yeah.
He then takes out a circular device and hands it to Vulture and says, "Seize this device. I got this
Ex Machina.
I got this slightly used, slightly wet core reactor thingamabob on eBay from username Love You Times 3000, and within a snap, I won it for $22 and made some major improvements to it. And don't you want to know how it works?" Arcade explains that this hunter killer can disable the hunters that are hunting the animal-themed villains in the park. Puzzled, the Vulture turns up his hearing aid and asks the Vulture if he could repeat himself. With a sigh of regret, Vulture explains it will disrupt the pilot's direct feed to the drone, it create lag time, disable targeting system, show reruns of the Brady Bunch in their view screen, show the pilot's high-priced target that has been engaged, only to be interrupted by Rick Ashley's Never Gonna Give It Up song. There's a catch to this hunter killer device, though. Its range is limited. Arcade explains that in order to extend the range of this device, you must kill more robot hunters. The more you kill, the further you reach the potential of this device. Vulture is outraged. You basically gave me an app for free, but now to unlock its full features, I have to pay you $199. Arcade explains that Adrian is the perfect person to do this by stroking his ego and giving him a clear satisfaction. Clearly, he sacrificed Gibbon. Vulture is now satisfied and takes the device and flies off. Meanwhile, the Serpent Society is running into the Cravel-matic bot, and the Vulture swoops on and kills the bot. Impressed that the Serpent Society makes Vulture their leader, Vulture convinces the other animal-themed villains what must be done. Outing each of them. Rhino, when I found you, you were at a computer terminal posting I hate Mark Walton thread. Beetle, when I found you, you were getting bug zapped and mocking Stegron. And as for you, Stegron, when I found you, you were running for your life by those craven bots.
That
Like
panel,
a little bit.
That panel does have Stegron running away from gunfire.
The best
Background
panel
fire's
in the
back.
history of panels, right there.
What is going on,
What?
George?
I'll tell you what's
It-
going
it-
on.
it's strategic repositioning.
It's a tactical withdrawal.
I'm sure he's known for his ranged attacks.
Actually, with his tail, he is.
Mm.
Pincer maneuver.
That's
With
not a
his-
ranged
Yeah.
attack.
It is when
His
Stegron lays
supposed
it on you.
mighty tail.
Is it gonna shoot pen missiles off of it?
Oh,
No, he can hit you from like 10, 15 feet away with the tail. That's
a
Spider-Man.
melee
Spider-Man
attack.
doesn't have an answer for that. Listen, Ashley. Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda.
I can just see like
All right.
George. I can see George just straightening his bow tie. Listen here, you little, and it just cuts to black.
No, listen, Linda. All right, I don't. I
who
don't.
is
I don't-
Linda? Who
I
is
don't-
Linda?
Have you not seen Listen, Linda on the YouTubes, Brad?
No, it's Ashley. Listen, Ashley. What are you calling her Linda
there's
for?
no. Quiet. Listen, Linda. All right, I don't tell you what how to explain Black Cat stuff. So I'm just
I'm
going
just
to
trying
ask.
to explain to you the basics of tactical warfare.
I'm going to ask you kindly to shut the hell up
Oh,
about stuff that you have no
Dang.
idea
Language.
of which you speak.
Hey.
Okay.
Ranged attacks involve projectiles.
It is a giant tail. It has
It's not a
range.
projectile if it's attached to your body.
It's a ranged attack because he can hit you from like 10 feet away with it.
You cannot have a melee projectile.
Here's the thing.
You
I want to
cannot be
projectile vomit every time I see Stegron. So anyway,
oh.
That's a ranged attack.
Anyway,
this is my
Peter.
Sunday.
Peter, Stegron was running away. Go ahead.
Where the hell was I?
Stegron's running away.
Okay. Stegron fires back. I'm rushing for my life. Fires back. I wasn't rushing for my life, you old buzzard. I was rushing to get my advance tickets on Godzilla King of the Monsters.
blame him.
Vulture gives you. So some of you may die, but the chance I'm willing to take speech, and after the villains win the day, they'll go after Craven himself
Cravon?
and Pain.
Cravon.
sorry.
Cravon.
Cravon
March.
Cravon and make him pay
Cravon
for the
shops at
something.
Target.
Cravon?
Cravon. What the hell? Whoa, you got a snort.
Cravon.
Whenever
That's the
whenever you get a
ultimate-
s-
That's the Ultimate Universe
Cravon.
version. Cravon the Hunter.
Cravon.
Tarjay.
Cravon.
Oh my gosh. All right. All right. Let's get back. Let's get back. Peter, you're almost done with the book. Go ahead.
I am. Thank God. Unknown as to Vulture and his new boy band he formed, Cravon, had this planned all along. Our card explains to Craven that Vulture has been taking the bait, and we see a splash page of all the villains rushing to the hunters for the grand fight. But wait, folks, there's more.
Yep.
Nick Spencer and Tyler Crook, I believe, need to show us how Vermin became more than one back in Amazing 821.
Ugh.
In this flashback, we see Vermin stating that he feels trapped, afraid, in pain, and alone. As JR would point out, basically he's married. Arcade points fun at Vermin, and Vermin bites Arcade's finger.
Yeah.
Lets it slip. The Taskmaster and the Lizard are working together, and Arcade freaks out and informs the guard how to sound the alarm. Arcade has one last trick up his bow tie. He injects Vermin with a flower-powered flavored Mountain Dew, and then multiple Vermin.
First
clones
time
appear.
Mountain Dew has ever been mentioned in a Spider-Man book, by the way.
In a reproductive
Really?
sense.
The serum looks like Mountain Dew, and Arcade
does.
says, "Hand me the Mountain Dew looking serum." And I'm like, Mountain Dew has been mentioned in Spider-Man. Hallelujah. There you go.
It's almost as if a certain somebody that might be writing this book has listened to this podcast before.
They know I like Mountain Dew, but go ahead. Yep,
Right
there's
there.
the Mountain Dew looking serum.
It's really you.
It's like Brad. He just injects it straight into the vein.
Yeah, no doubt.
I give this the grade is an A.
Hey, okay. Ashley, grade.
This is a B- for me.
Neil.
A minus.
Zach.
A-.
George, I don't think you picked this one up, did you? Okay. I would give it a B-. B-. Didn't really do it much for me. I'm not even sure Spider-Man made an appearance in this book, did he?
Nope.
Yeah, he did not. that takes it down. This should be called the voluptuous vulture. No, that's bad. I'm trying to think of a V.
Whoa, whoa.
Disgusting.
No, I was looking for a V adjective, but the voluptuous does not apply to the vulture.
No, it does not.
Not with that attitude.
I don't want to see.
Vulture is thick.
What
Suddenly, Christina Hendricks is playing the vulture.
What about Anne Hathaway gets cast as the vulture?
Give me a V. Give me a V for vulture.
Hey.
Vicious.
Oh no.
The vicious vulture.
I'll pay good money to see Anne Hathaway as the voluptuous vulture any day of the week.
All right,
voluptuous.
Peter, what would you get? Pros. What's your voluptuous grade? Pros.
My voluptuous, victorious grade pros is the characterization between Vulture and Arcade. We see that Vulture, Adrian, is really looking out for himself and his ego. And we see how Arcade is kind of like playing that.
I love the YouTube chat is going nuts with that. The Vulture is thick. Black Cat Vulture body swap is what Zach. Oh, that's Zach. Zach, you're the one typing that. What?
That's the first thing that popped in my head, which is highly unfortunate because now Rule 34 is going to get into effect, and I just don't want that.
Vulture extra thick. Okay,
Rule 34 means it was already in effect.
That extra thick was me, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
You people are on the show. You're not. I didn't know you're typing. Okay, anyway.
Hey, we are interacting with the chat people.
You are all.
Wow.
How many we got? 26 people.
Okay.
Interacting Vulture and Arcade was one of Peter's pros. What's some other pros from the rest of you?
If I may, this is less of a Vulture comment, more of an Arcade comment. This single arc, I guess, run has been so good to Arcade, especially since he was just ruined in Avengers Arena. So I am very much glad that this run is making him at least fun to read again.
Yeah. Why has he got the Mysterio head on?
Because he's had it since Zdarsky's run. It's not Spencer's fault.
He doesn't have it on the cover.
Well, that's too bad. He has it here.
I don't think I like the Mysterio head on Vulture. I don't know.
It's to prevent Peter from whipping his eyes out and he can't see. There's an actual tactical advantage, unlike Stegron running away like a little.
Whoa.
You shut your mouth.
Just saying.
All he has to do is web up the helmet itself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got a non-stick coating, so it doesn't stick.
It's got a Teflon. It's got a Teflon.
What did he get? One of those what did he get? One of those copper non-stick?
Yes, he did. He took the copper. Never have your eggs.
Oh, I get it.
You
Vulture
really
and
want
eggs.
to clone
Bird
talking
eggs.
about baking and eggs right now.
Your bird eggs will not stick to the Teflon coated Vulture mask.
I quit.
Oh my gosh. Are we done with pros? I think once we start talking about non-Teflon stuck helmets, let me do cons.
The look on Barrywood's face right now.
Oh, I know.
Utter contempt.
Cons. There's no Spider-Man. Peter, what you got?
That's the biggest con for me is that there is no Spider-Man, but the characterization and how it fits in with the story really brings it up, and the artwork's good. Corey Smith is
the artwork was okay. What were you saying, Neil?
I think it felt really short. It didn't feel as long as the other issues. Like the other HU issues felt very beefy, but this one in particular felt really short. Like it just needed to get
like you were eating chicken instead of beef.
Yeah, it felt like they just kind of needed this one issue to just get like the rest of the moving parts out of the way. Yeah. As opposed to like telling an actual story about Vulture. It gets the characterization right about Vulture, but it just feels like there's no real substance to it other than just moving the plot along.
For me, it felt like it kind of was a total not a non sequitur, but it just came out of nowhere. Grinds, he's rolling the story to a halt before we have him, rising up and leading the Vulture squad and in that kind of role, and then suddenly just yoink him out of there and plop him down and sit him in a chair talking for several pages. It kind of killed the pacing for what was being built up with him, and then just
there's a lot of dialogue.
Put him back into it. So it felt a little unnatural in that regard.
He's leading the gamer army. Gamers rise up.
Yeah. A con out of me after reading all these issues. I kind of wanted to wrap up. Are you guys ready for this to wrap up? We've only got 2 issues left, I think.
I'm ready
But
for Otley to come
I think
back.
it's gone a bit longer than it should. What do you guys think?
It's because of
Yeah.
all the HU things.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I'm ready for all the side stories to kind of like they were fun and telling a different angle. The
Mhm.
Vulture one just kind of killed the momentum with it, though.
I'll say this:
Yeah.
this is better executed than what we saw with Clone Conspiracy. I talked about this in our on our Facebook chat, but
Yeah.
one of the mistakes that I felt like Clone Conspiracy made was that the ASM issues were completely superfluous because it was like the extended scene of this, which you saw in Clone Conspiracy.
For an
See,
extra
I'm-
$4, you get to see this. Yeah.
yeah,
But
To see nothing.
to see nothing, and they didn't line up, and then like conveniently everything like wrapped up within like 2 panels. It was this at least gives more depth to the story. In those other issues, outside of because there was 5 of those issues, 2 of the 5 actually added to the story. The other 3 were just kind of there.
Yeah.
These all kind of add to the motivation. This is a big story, but it doesn't feel like it's collapsing on its own weight. But I'm kind of with you, Brad. The pacing has been such that I am ready for this story to wrap up because it feels like
Luckily, we
gone on so
got 2 issues left before it's done.
I will
Then we get-
I will say this: the story is at the very least keeping me reeled in for the finish line, because with Slot stories, I couldn't be I could have cared less if the story ended because I didn't care. But this story actually has me caring. I am invested, and no matter how the story ends, I'm convinced at this point that it will at least be in a satisfying way that doesn't just wrap up everything in like a single issue.
Before we wrap up this episode, is Neil over your shoulder? Is that the 1980s mascot for McDonald's, Mac the Knight?
Mac tonight, yeah.
Mac tonight. Remember that?
Yeah, hang on one sec.
Wow, I haven't
Wow.
seen that character in years.
Wow.
Remember they wanted you to go eat at McDonald's after dark, and
Yeah.
that was the character.
Yeah.
What?
I think
Dude, that's a 30-year-old shirt.
I think the McDLT was part of that.
Oh, the McDLT.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
How's it going, Grimace?
So, Ashley, we officially feel old now,
Why?
or not? We officially feel way too young to be having this conversation.
Oh, okay.
Why?
That was what I meant.
Because
Because
you
I
weren't
never.
born in the 80s.
I was born in the '80s. I don't remember.
You just didn't go to McDonald's in the 80s.
Ashley
All
has
right.
to leave in 9 minutes, and we still haven't gotten to her movie review.
Oh,
Oh no, I
She-
still have an
she
hour.
has an
y'all's
hour.
time.
She has an
Yeah.
hour.
Oh,
11 o'clock y'all
But I
time.
think we're pretty
Oh.
much done, aren't we? Is there any other cons before we wrap this up?
Just wanted to say that I too am ready for this to wrap up, even though I am invested in it, and I can't wait to hear about the next arc will be about Senna Demon and finding out who he is.
No doubt.
And
if you wanna
if
hear
you
an
want to,
analysis-
go to
Go to-
Patreon.exclusive
There you
to
go.
hear about Brad, myself, and Mark, our friend Mark, talk about theories on who Senna Demon is.
That's a good episode.
For $5
All right.
you get access.
Pay us money to hear things that we say.
For $5
All right,
you get
so-
access to the to that and all the back issues of Satellites and of our PS4 Spidey DLC reviews.
YouTubers, all 29 of you that are watching right now, we're going to be back in 5 minutes. We're going to review Avengers Endgame. All right, I want to start a new YouTube feed. Subscribe to youtube.com/ is it Crawlspace or Spider-Man
Yes.
Crawlspace?
Spider-Man Crawl Space.
Spider-Man
And be
Crawl Space,
sure
yeah.
to click the notification bell, because if you click subscribe, it's not going to notify you. You got to click the subscribe button.
Subscribe.
and the
5 minutes.
notification button.
What's up, guys? It's Philip DeFranco, and let's just jump right into it.
All right, I will see you guys in 5. Be back real promptly. All right, here we go. Bye.
Bye.